We have a quorum.
Okay.
I'd like to bring the meeting to order. First up is the update agenda. Anybody have anything?
Allison will not be here.
I didn't find any meetings about order in the next 6 days.
Is this me? That's me. No.
What is
Sorry.
it?
Let's turn them all on.
I don't know. And my watch is telling me I don't have a meeting for another 6 months or something.
Oh.
Good. That's right. Okay.
All right, nothing for the update agenda. So next is the public comment, which nobody is on.
I can talk.
Okay,
Can you public?
what's up?
No, never mind.
So we have next, Joel, you had that CO, certificate of occupancy discussion we were gonna have?
Sure.
Maybe not.
So did you make copies for everybody?
No, I couldn't figure out which one it was supposed to be on this,
Oh, okay.
on
Good.
my phone that I was saving stuff.
Mike, do you have that by any chance?
Did you send it to me?
I
Oh.
can.
If you
Probably.
can forward it over real quick, I can put it on screen. It'll be easier if you just send me what you're looking for, as opposed to me looking for it.
What's this project?
So we can talk about the town plan, though. I mean, I did talk with Allison, and I spent a good hour with her on the phone on Friday. And NVDA, all of their staff had to cancel all their meetings because they got certain towns are not happy with the housing targets or their maps for land use. And that all has to be submitted to the land review board, and they have a huge deadline for it. So that is why she is not here.
Can you say a little bit more about that if you know? Like, how are they not happy with the targets? They don't want to build more houses?
At least I mean, I was in one board meeting where one of the members was their town is absolutely opposed to any development. And so they want all of their land to show on the land use maps that it's conservation land and not available for development, which the state is never going to approve. That's not what their map is even for, but that's what they were completely tied up with that. And I guess the housing targets are the same. It's, people don't want that many houses developed. Well, they have to spread the land, the housing targets had to be spread across the Northeast Kingdom. So you can't say everything's going to be built in downtown Newport because there's not enough room in downtown Newport to build them all, or downtown St. Johnsbury. So they did spread them across all towns. I mean, we have a lofty target. I believe by 2030, we're supposed to be 53 housing units. I forget what 2050 was. And I mean, that's why they're pushing us to look at, infill opportunities, multi-unit dwellings, stuff like that. And there is no real repercussion for not meeting those targets. That's a target. What we have to make sure of is that our zoning and our town plan supports that we could develop 53 units, that we're not discouraging it, which is what some of these towns are trying to do. They're trying to discourage growth. And the state says that, that they're not going to approve that. I mean, if you want all of the benefits that go along with all of the land planning, you have to accept growth.
Well, I think they should be allowed to reject it if they want, but that's a whole other discussion.
Because they can't reject the maps because that impacts every other town in the Northeast Kingdom. And it's really important for us because if that map does not get approved by the state by the deadline, every one of the small towns that is a village center designation, we lose it. And we have to start from square one, applying all over again. And that's huge tax credits availability for all of the businesses and everything in town. I mean, we get a lot of benefit out of the village center designation. And we will be grandfathered in so long as that land use map gets approved. If it does not, we get thrown out, along with almost every other town in the Northeast Kingdom. The only two towns that would be eligible still, well, actually maybe three, would be Hardwick, St. Johnsbury and Newport. I think they're the only ones that are designated downtowns. Because they went through I mean, we looked at doing that, but we don't have the zoning for downtown designation. It requires, a board of people to, do historical and architectural review and stuff like that, which we don't have that, and I don't know that we could get that to pass in town, even if we could.
On a related note, somebody might be buying the pit in downtown Newport finally.
Yeah.
And that could be a lovely mixed use with a whole bunch of units on the second and third floors.
Yeah. Well, Newport has
So-
some hefty targets. Newport has big
Yeah.
targets. I mean, and so what Allison, I mean, I'll talk about, Katie and I were talking about this earlier today, and something that we were thinking about, when we're thinking about adding housing units, we're thinking about young families and, houses and stuff like that. But what we really probably could use more of is Sunrise Manors. If you look at our population, it's aging. So, maybe that should be something that we might want to put a little blurb about in the town plan, is that, developing a second facility like that. I mean, there's a waiting list to get in Sunrise Manor forever.
Mhm.
And, that's 20 units there. So we add another building like that, that's 20 units of our 53 unit goal. So, I think that's something, the planning commission should consider when they're working on the town plan. Because it's something we need, we could put nursing homes in there. I mean, right now you have to go to Newport, and getting in there is almost impossible as well. It's not something I thought about. I hadn't really thought about town, pursuing that as its growth potential, but we don't really have factories and stuff for employment. So, if we kind of could become a magnet for that kind of population, it's still population growth, and it's just different. What Allison suggested you guys might want to talk about tonight, since she's not here, is so we have these housing goals, and when you look in our town plan, what do we want to put in there about our infrastructure and its ability to handle that kind of growth? Can it handle it? Where can it handle it? Because I mean, our that section in our town plan has to be updated as well, because I was looking at it earlier, it still talks about the static law for our water operator and the equipment. We don't own any of that stuff anymore.
So can I go back to the elderly house? Is there, Derby Street? Now, I'm not gonna name
No.
anything or whatever, but that would be a place where you could put elderly,
Yeah.
right?
I don't see why not. I mean, I guess, does our zoning prohibit it anywhere? I don't think so.
Well, that's what, no, I wouldn't think so, but we could fix that.
But doesn't the state mandate supersede single family zoning?
Depends on what exactly you're talking about. We can apply stricter standards than the state standards in certain cases, but we can't be in like shoreland protection. If shoreland protection, for instance, says this controls within 250 feet, but if we have a zoning bylaw that says we control the 30 feet, then we control the 30 feet. But it can't be something that contradicts state law. It's a touch and go. It depends on the situation.
Right. I mean, you'd still have to be able to meet setbacks and stuff like that. I mean, I know some of those
Yeah.
lots are kind of wonky and weird, and we have to make sure we can meet flood hazard and all those kinds of things. But it's certainly something to look at. I mean, Derby Street, Railroad Street, any of those.
Where's the land? Where's the land that you're?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I'm not mentioning, I'm not.
No, I'm just saying,
It's just
I can't.
something that's been talked
actually,
about.
even
so
you
I
guys
don't know.
looked at the infill properties around town. I mean, I was thinking, you guys looked at all that land that sits behind like the old town garage. Okay, well, that wouldn't be a bad area. It's got water and sewer accessible to it, and or up on South Street, or any of those are would be eligible lots that you could put something on. It may not be as big as Sunrise Manor, but you could probably do a couple of them around town.
But you're back to the landowner.
Right, right. I mean,
I know.
and that's just it. You know, none of this we control. You know, we're not the developer on this stuff. Unless it
Oh,
comes
yeah,
to
you would have to buy the
bringing water
land.
and
Sure.
sewer. I mean, there are programs with the state. You know, we could use the CHIP program to bring water and sewer to a lot that does not have it. And so, because I mean, I think that would be a program that we could use, if it would help help somebody develop.
Is that cheaper and faster than us doing a tax foreclosure?
You can only do a tax foreclosure if somebody doesn't pay their taxes.
Right.
Well, that the house behind mine is in that situation. I seem to recall, and it went up for auction and nobody bought it.
Yeah, twice.
Well, in that case, the town could purchase it, but we'd want to make sure that we weren't purchasing a liability or too much of a liability. I mean, if the town bought it, they could raise it and put it up for development, no problem there.
Well, and that might be faster and cheaper than a lot of the other options.
And it's certainly something I think the town will look at when we do the next tax sale. I think we will look at some of these properties that have been hanging around for a long time, and you know, is it something that we could use for something beneficial for town? You know, if people aren't willing to buy it and fix it on their own, you know, does the town at some point decide, yeah, well, we want to get it back? I mean, they're not paying taxes on it anyway. We're not earning any, you know, we're not making anything off that property sitting there.
But it puts us in control of the land.
Right, right.
And the land is the key to anything. So
Well,
It's still one of
depends-
those things that, you know,
depends
if the
what-
town takes it over, I believe you still have the year waiting period. So,
Right.
you know,
You can take
can't
over
do
a
anything
piece
for a
of
year.
property. You can take over a piece of property, but when it comes down to the nit and gritty and you gotta start tearing it down, and now the federal government's involved, you gotta get permits. Because now it's the town is considered a different entity than a private sale. But you know, you have to do asbestos removal, you gotta do all this stuff, and that gets pretty expensive for some people that don't follow the law. And they get caught, and it's a $50,000 fine because they didn't remove the asbestos so they were supposed to, or separate the sheet metal from the asbestos shingles. And you know, that gets to be,
Is there a house? What, this property you're talking, is there a house?
so it needs
Yeah.
to be torn down.
Whose house is that?
I don't know.
we don't, the thing is, we don't even know that. We don't know what
Anything,
condition the
anything
house
pre
was.
Yeah, it may not even have any of that.
anything pre 1978 has to be tested for asbestos and have it removed before you can remove the building.
Right, but we may not
That's
even need
the
to
law.
remove. The thing is, the building might not need to be removed. I don't even know what condition the
Well-
building, the garage is not good, but the building, last time I was in it was fine. I mean, I was in there years ago, but
And
Yeah.
a lot of times it's cheaper to tear the thing down and rebuild something new than going through refurbishing a building that's half rotted and doesn't meet today's specs for insulation because they got 2x4 walls and not 2x6. And it just a balloon effect that just keeps on going.
Well,
The money
that
pit.
is something that we just need to look into, right?
it's something we would look at, and we would look
Yeah.
at that as
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
CHIP program, because the CHIP program covers that kind of cost too. If we can put something that will actually generate more revenue for the town than what it makes off of the current use of it, you know, you get to take that for the next 30 years. You get that tax revenue goes to the town to pay any debt that goes with fixing up the property. So whether that's bringing water and sewer or maybe removing an old building, it's something we could look at. I mean, the new program's new, it's just opening, so. But,
Would the
So that
town
was
buy, would the town buy the property
No,
on Derby Street?
they would just give it over.
No, the one I'm talking about, no,
No.
it would be a private. The one I'm talking
I
about,
don't know what you're talking about.
I know, well,
We're
I am
talking
just
about-
talking because I have talked to people. And I'm not even talking about the property, and talking about putting another elderly housing project on Derby Street.
Right.
They
but
would have
I'm
to
not-
buy the property.
Are you talking about the sisters?
No,
Okay, that's what I'm talking
no,
about.
no.
I'm talking about
Hmm.
Derby Street that Nick and I had talked about, and he's got the warning letter and stuff going now. But that's a piece of property that you could tear down, and there's a lot right there as well, because that's eventually gonna.
Right, but
Probably-
I don't think they're behind on their taxes, so.
No, I
that's
don't.
Not something the town
That's-
is gonna take over. It's, so long as they pay the property taxes on it, the town
No,
doesn't take
no.
that over.
Because they have to fix that up. They have to board it up. They have to make it safe. They can't just leave it like that for us to look at. There's a whole thing in there, what they have to do.
Right.
Nick told them that they had to do all this stuff. Do it or fix it up or tear it down, whatever.
If they don't do it, it's a zoning violation. And I find it hard to believe that she's got the money to really clean that lot up like we want her to
Right.
do. We're gonna
So-
end up saying, okay, well, if you won't clean it up, we're gonna clean it up and we're gonna take it off, put a lien on the property and get paid back that way. That would be how I would typically think
Yeah.
that would happen.
And that could stay like that for another 20 years.
No, if
No,
I think
it's
if the
already-
town bought it, it better tear it down. If they
Oh.
made her tear it down, I don't think it
Yeah.
would be good for the town to buy it and then not tear it
But
down.
Yeah.
if you put a lien on it and they're still paying the taxes, you can't
Yeah, but
take,
they're a zoning violation,
Yes.
so they have to pay the,
uh,
whatever, how many days,
Well,
How
30
much a day
days
or
they had,
whatever.
30
we'll
days.
see that at some point the lien exceeds the value of the property and then you can foreclose the
that's
lien.
right.
right.
It's just long,
gonna take
messy
time.
legal.
Of
It's a
course,
long,
yeah.
messy thing.
But
But how
so,
long will it take if we wait 10 years?
I'm just 10 years.
I can't look at that.
So so there's two sisters, one of them has passed and the other one is in a nursing home. Well, I don't know if they're leaving this to anybody after, whoever they leave it to, probably gonna like, eh. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that after she passes.
This might be the fastest. They leave it to someone who wants nothing to do with it. They sell it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That might be, I don't know if they're leaving it to somebody and they're like, oh,
Well, they
how am I
have
gonna
30
do?
days to answer. So, they tell Nick that, then,
So Nick is,
we're started the process.
okay, all right, well, let's go from there then.
Yeah.
Just takes time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
yeah.
No.
So
Right.
as far as the targets, I would think that what we have to do is we just have to not stand in the way of what people want
Right.
to do that's legitimate by the law. So,
Right. It's not that
if-
we have to go develop them.
right.
No,
If those towns don't want to comply, they could try to stand in the way of somebody who wants to add another dwelling to their lot, which the state law now allows. If they did that, they could be taken to court and they'd lose. That's what
Right.
it amounts to.
And I
And
would.
they probably wouldn't, any grants they apply for, they wouldn't get.
okay,
That's how that would work. But I don't think, as long as we don't counter the state law on this, we're going to be fine. And I
Right,
don't
right.
think.
Yeah, because I asked Allison that. I said, is there any, like, if we don't meet these targets, what's going to happen to us? Are we getting slapped around? Are we, and she's, and she agreed that no, that's not how it's, this is a target, this is a goal. And I think it's lofty. 53 units for Brighton in 4 years.
Oof.
That's a lot.
Insane.
Yeah, we're never going to hit that.
Never.
4 years, you're not even going to develop a new property in that amount of time.
But
But
we have zoning, if we get 3-4 dwellings a year, that's a lot.
mm-hmm,
Depends on the economy too.
yeah.
it does. Short of some major change, I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, if only we had some land.
Hmm.
Well, we have the Mose Wood lot, 70 acres.
Where's that?
Off of Pleasant Street,
Yeah.
or actually off of
Almost
Head
to the
Pond
wall.
Road.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I thought we had 800 acres.
Well, that's water land.
Right. But we own the Moose Woodland, which is the town owns. That was just a camp up there.
And we have the town forest, another 70 or to 100 acre parcel up off Mountain Street. That's the town's forest, not the water department's. But the water department has what, 400 on Bluff Mountain and 400 on Pleasant Street.
Correct.
You know, the Mosewood property, you know, if we wanted to look at, the thing is, I don't know how we would do water and sewer up to there, because I think that's part of the CHIP program requirement. Has to be served by water and sewer. I won't swear to that, but
Yeah, but I mean, you can bring it there, right? Like Joel, when we went, or Annie, when we went and saw that property, I'm not gonna mention names, that you thought that you could just go across the road and serve, you know, who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think.
So, I mean, that would be okay, right? Unless
right.
it's Richard's property.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was thinking Mosewood is up on top of the hill. I mean, it's way up.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you'd have to bring, yeah, but this would be just across the road, I
Oh,
think.
Water
because-
would be no problem.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So,
Sewer is.
well, I think their big thing is water. Right?
I thought it was water and sewer.
Is it water and sewer or just water?
I am not. I'll have to go back and look at it. I haven't paid much attention to that CHIP program since town meeting.
I thought it was
town
both
fair.
water and,
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but I thought it
Yeah.
was water and sewer.
because around the lake, not everybody
Yeah,
has
water.
just water, but not sewer.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The opposite.
Right,
me
and I
from
was
it.
looking at that program. You know, if we could put some development at the end of it, then it pays. You know, that CHIP program would cover the cost for running the sewer all the way around the lake. And then you would, you know, pick up all those properties, which would make our
Right.
sewer system way more financially solvent.
Viable.
Yep.
And then all those people could pay more.
Well, it's still
But that would-
cheaper than digging a septic and
But
doing all that.
what that would lead to would be that the lot sizes on the lake could be diminished, because now they have to be big enough to handle a septic system, which means they have to be at least 200 feet away from the residents. So the sewer system must. So that's why the lot sizes are what they are now. If we didn't have to worry about sewers contaminating, septic tanks contaminating, we could reduce the lot size and sell more lots on the lake, which I think
Which
would
then-
happen naturally. I don't think we'd have to motivate that. I think that would just happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
people
kind of
would-
what the CHIP program plans for, is that, okay, then the property value, because all of a sudden, instead of one house on this lot, you've got 3 houses on this lot. And the value of those 3 houses is way more than the value of that one house on one lot. And
That's
so
right.
the property tax revenue goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that program is supposed to work.
You know how close those houses are on Derby Pond or Lake Salem when you go up there and look down on the way to Newport?
Oh, good
Oh,
God.
they're right next to each other.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we want
Lot
that.
of noise
I mean,
on
that's
that
another
too.
question. Do we want that? That would be so, but that's what putting a sewer around the lake would lead to. And by the way, we already have a plan that's already been looked into, where there's a whole study that to look just at that, what it would take to do that. It would take mound systems. We'd have to purchase land
Mhm.
down on the lake, on the south end of the lake. We'd have to purchase some lots to put mound systems on, is how I remember that. Could be done though. There's a way.
Just money.
So you want to go to the checklist now? You ready to go talk about certificate of occupancy? Come on, ready?
Yes, please, let's do it.
Oh,
Did you get that yet, Mike?
hold on, let me go look. I wasn't paying attention.
You were busy.
I don't think my house has a certificate of occupancy.
I got mine.
Mine doesn't.
It's
think
just always been there. You know, it predates.
Well, they didn't used to have,
Well-
I mean, for years, they just didn't do them. But
What happens, as I was telling Annie, is the certificate of occupancy is they have to apply for it when they're done. And people there's no way people can remember. And we continually get
Yeah.
requests for certificates of occupancy during the title search. When it turns up that they're supposed to have one and they don't, then they want one right away because they're closing tomorrow. So we've tried to handle that by making them pay for the certificate of occupancy up front so that they might better remember. That didn't work either, and it was administratively difficult. But now this checklist, when you look at it, we're going to have to start complying with this. Um, so it's going to mean that the zoning administrator is going to somehow have to figure out when they're complete. So what I'm thinking the way this is going to have to happen maybe is that we're going to change the zoning bylaw to say that projects have to be substantially complete, which is a phrase that we use in build big projects, and it has to have a definition. Projects must be substantially complete in 2 years, whatever period of time we want. And at that point, the zoning administrator goes out and checks it. Otherwise, he's going out every month to see how far along they are. So, we don't want to really add to the burden. That's the only way I can see that. But before, also in this checklist now, before any permit can be issued, the zoning administrator needs to see if it's not on a town highway, if it's like on 105 going out of town, going out of the village, if they're there, they need to show that they have a state highway access permit, which I don't know if the state enforces that much or not, but now we're going to need to see it. And we're going to need to see, we normally need to see driveway access permits. We're going to have to see wastewater permits. So it seems like an extra little bit of work for the zoning administrator is coming around, is what my concern is. And I just want everybody to understand it's going to mean another whole step in the process. And if the zoning administrator goes out and it's not complete, then that starts a whole new process. It's like, then it's a zoning violation. And, so it's going to be a change that's going to be, I think, not fun to deal with.
I think we're going to find that the state, some of these requirements they're putting on, like now zoning administrators, they've done with listers. We're going to basically have to hire staff to do all of these jobs. They're no longer going to be these appointed positions that, they're going to be real jobs in these towns. I don't think that you're going to just be able to get somebody off the street to do these things.
Yeah. So we don't have to go over this whole list tonight, but there's a few things in there that are going to pertain and that we've already addressed, but there are some things that we haven't yet addressed in this list in the new zoning bylaw revisions.
So can we get a copy of that? Because there's no way that I can read that.
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Email.
All right.
Hold on, let me see. I can close
Can
it.
we all have it?
No, just me.
Okay.
I can send it to everybody if I have your email address.
I have it already, Joel.
Don't make me come over to your house.
Get him a copy.
I mean, we can go down this list a little bit. The second thing on there is the state highway access permits. That's what I mentioned already. We have to have those in hand. The Shoreland Protection Act, we just have to tell people that exists. And again, we can be, if they allow, if they don't mention something and we don't want it to happen, our bylaw would apply. If they don't care and we have a bylaw, then our bylaw applies. We don't have on this, we have like a few ponds, McConnell Pond, Beecher Pond, Island Pond, of course, and Speck Pond. I'm not sure if there's any others, but we don't have a lot of activity on any of those except Beecher. We still have exemptions for agricultural practices. We don't have a lot of flood hazard areas that we have to worry about. The only real flood hazard area we have is on Meadow Street that's have any chance of development is on Meadows, in the Meadow Street area, which floods behind Railroad Street, that whole area. That's the only area that we have, and modifies protections for group homes and residential care homes.
On the flood hazard thing, the other thing that Allison was telling me was that, you know, up until now you could basically, if you, so long as you didn't raise the land level more than a foot in a floodplain, you could fill before you built, and that is going to be changing. If you alter the floodplain at all, you have to put the same amount of capacity in somewhere else.
Right. That's my issue there at Webster Brook, but so
If you
here's
fill
the
in
thing.
you fill in a foot over here, you gotta take a foot over there away.
The water has to have some
Take
place
the-
to go.
Oh,
If you
Yeah.
fill it in, if you fill it in, the water has no place to go.
Right.
And then it finds a new place to go downstream. So
well, most of these places that are doing that are, these floodplain areas are wetlands anyway, so that's another whole thing anyways. You can't touch wetlands
Hmm.
unless you got a exemption from the Pope.
right. Here's modifies protections for group homes and residential care homes by eliminating the provision that allowed a municipality's land use regulations to require that such facilities be separated by at least 1,000 feet. Now, a residential care home or group home operated under state licensing or registration, serving up to 8 disabled persons. Oh, that's not, I thought we were talking about what Gene was talking about.
Yeah.
Another.
Elderly. Yep.
I don't even know how many of those kind of homes they do anymore. I mean, I worked in that field a long time ago, and we were eliminating 8-bed group homes back then. So I don't know how many of those even exist. So seems to me like it might be a rule that's looking for nothing.
I always required, even though I didn't have a lot of legal backing for it, when somebody wanted to subdivide property, they had to have a survey, because if we don't have a survey, we can't transfer that information to our tax map. So when this formalizes it, we can, and it's a change we'll put into our zoning bylaws, that surveys will be required. Yes, existing small lots, that came up. Nick called me about that. You can't prohibit the development of lots that can connect to water and sewer infrastructure, even if they are less than 1/8 of an acre, which is 5,000 square feet, give or take. The existing bylaws sets a minimum. You know, you can develop 2 small lots that are too small by your zoning standards, as long as they're not less than 1/8 of an acre, but this changes that. If they can connect to water and sewer. And this law also says when you're deciding whether something can connect to water or sewer, you can't say, well, they're not connected. If they could reasonably connect, you have to treat it as if they can connect. That might mean additional development of the lot of the, extending the piping, but our ordinance, our sewer ordinance has a clause for that as well. So, but that's something we'll have to watch if existing small lots and anything that can connect to water and sewer is very loosely defined. So it's hard to deny somebody. It'll be hard to deny somebody if they're close.
So what about if they can connect to water, but not sewer because the sewer is not available, but the water is?
I think for certain parts of this law, for most of this new law, it has to be both. Our bylaw, though, has a clause in it for water or sewer.
Or sewer.
I think it's 200 feet.
Who pays?
Yeah, lot sizes change. It's a class system so that if your lot has sewer, it can be smaller. I mean, if it has, a municipal sewer, it can be smaller. If it has private sewer, it can't be smaller because you have to keep that 200 feet. But this is when somebody comes in like somebody did and they want to develop the lot on Lakeshore Drive. It's a very narrow lot. And it's connected to water but not sewer. But it is too small, but it's not this lets them off the hook even if they were smaller than an eighth of an acre. They still have to meet setbacks. It can be developed like any other lot, but any other lot has to meet setbacks. So that lot's only 40 feet wide and we have a 30-foot setback. So they can't meet that. So they would have to apply for a variance from the DRB. That's how that would have to work.
Right. So is that something that we're saying that person that we're talking about, because we talked about it before, we have to say it has to go to the DRB now? Or what are we saying on that?
They wanted a guarantee. The person wants to buy the lot, but they want to know if they can add a garage to the
Right.
lot. And
Before they buy it.
and they don't want to buy it if they can't be sure that they'll do that. And I'm sorry, it's a DRB question because they'll need a variance, and DRB can't give them an answer ahead of time until they hear the case. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that's the way that works.
Carrier next to Neil and Pam.
What do they want to put a garage up?
Who pays for the water and sewer extension?
Normally the people who want it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if there was a development, the developer would have to cover that
Yeah, would
cost.
they put the garage? Hide the house because it's ugly.
Yeah, no
Selling it.
paramilitary camps if we don't want them.
They were selling it.
They are, but she wants to buy it if a stipulation that she can put a garage in.
And I told Nick we can't guarantee anything. They're gonna have to take
Isn't it as well the abutters might not want it as well? Do they have a say?
The abutters would get notice if they apply for a variance to the DRB. The DRB would send notice to all the abutters, and they would have an opportunity to comment. So there's certainly no guarantee that they could do this. If that's what they're looking for, they're not going to get it.
Why they're not far away back enough? I mean, I don't understand.
The lot's
There's only
40
40 feet,
the
and
lot's
right,
only
and the garage
40
is 30, so they don't have the variance on either
so they only
side.
get 10 feet. Oh,
It's 30 feet all the way around.
Yeah.
Except the front is 50 feet
yep.
from the street.
Oh, you know that.
Mhm.
You saw that.
Well, if you're going to build a
Yeah.
standalone building, it has to be 50 feet from the street.
So that's another variance. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you build.
Mm.
If you park a trailer on it, then
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Depends
What
how
kind
long
of trailer?
they think they want a
What
garage.
what kind of trailer?
one that's not considered a building.
They're all considered now.
They're all considered a building.
Yeah.
They have to meet the variances.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're slowly bringing this up to Hawaii.
I
Has
mean, if
every
they-
single nitpick.
if they
Yeah, but
park
the thing, if it is, it's crazy. They say, well, it's on wheels, we can move it. Well, you haven't moved it in 10 years, so yeah, it's
Yeah,
if they parked the trailer there for 2 months, we probably wouldn't notice it, but once it seems to grow grass around it and everything.
yeah, right. You can't move it anymore because the tires are hidden.
Yeah, the Hawaiian rule includes a clause about unless the trailer is a prima facie moving, like if you have a coffee stand on a truck,
Mhm.
my coffee stand, that's obviously not parked and becoming a building.
That's right. It's getting.
But if you have a school bus, then after you paint that school bus, because a school bus can only be school bus yellow when it's being used as a school bus.
Mhm.
They got that in there. You wouldn't believe.
Right.
A lot of these are, this by right approvals of housing projects. A lot of the clauses in here are meant to keep towns from unreasonably restricting housing is how I see a lot of these. And we don't have any concern. We're not trying to restrict additional housing at all. So uh, there's a clause when they do site plan review, which the Planning Commission doesn't do anymore, but the DRB does. You can't, when you're considering the character of the area, you have to be, you can't be too restrictive when you do that. Um, Subdivision regulations, we're going to have those in the new bylaw. Because we want to have the benefit of the Act 250 benefit that it gets, even if we may never use it, but good to have. Here's the clause, we're served by water and by sewer and water. This is where you'll see what that can be taken to mean.
Available is not defined.
I mean, I would think that if there was like a housing development went in, let's say on Head of the Pond Road, just past the turn to Lakeshore Drive. If somebody put a housing development in there within 500 feet, maybe, I think that we would have to, by the way I read this, we would have to probably say that they can be connected to water and sewer because all it take is dig it up and put it in there. But they would have to pay for it.
Mhm.
Emergency
And that's where the
shelters.
CHIP program comes in, because the idea is that developers won't pay for that. And so here's a way that it can get paid for to encourage development.
Right.
Because, you'd be running water and sewer from all the way down Pleasant Street. So you're adding it so all those houses on Pleasant Street could connect.
Yeah, and about 3 pump stations.
Just mine.
I don't know if there's anything else that stands out. Parking requirements, we already changed that. We can't demand as many parking spaces in residential units as we used to. Because that doesn't promote increased density. People can look over this list. There's a lot to it, but I'm glad Allison sent it to us because it really, we're going to have to make some changes, especially in that CO. But what do I just don't see the zoning administrator driving around all the time. Say, have you filed your CO yet? Have you filed your CO yet? At some point, we'll change. Like I said, my suggestion is to just say projects must be substantially complete, and we have to have a definition of that within 2 years. Substantially complete, I don't know how to define that, but I guess when I think of it, does it have final siding on it?
I've seen a
If
definition.
it doesn't have final, what's that? I'm sorry.
I've seen a definition. I don't remember where, but it said,
Yeah, I'm sure we could come up with something.
secure perimeter,
Doors and windows are all.
stable flooring surface. But things like your kitchen cabinets didn't have to be in.
Right.
Yeah.
The house has to be
The
basically
outside looks,
built.
yeah,
Yeah, it has to be a complete shell that you can lock.
That's correct.
yeah.
Roof, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Now siding is the question, I guess. Is if the building's all put up there, but the people haven't put their siding on yet. Is that substantially complete? I mean, it's a shell, they can live in it.
Right. So can we do something with weather tight or something of that kind of?
Maybe that is their sighting.
Well, or
Well, it's just that you've seen houses with Tyvek paper on the outside for
Right.
10 years.
Right, exactly.
I
think that would
resemble
be a
that remark.
fire code.
He's got time.
Hmm.
Yeah, anyway, that would be something we'd have to do. We'd have to figure that part out, but that seems to make the most sense to me. But this is going to mean more work for Nick to be checking with these people and make sure have they all have their permits. And then to keep track later on, 2 years down the line, check back. It's gonna, if we change zoning administrators, we could fall behind. So it's gonna have to be a process, seems to me, that
It
won't be
does seem like they're gonna have to be on a
extremely difficult, but
calendar of some sort that, kind of is perpetual. And, there's certain times of the year you're gonna go out and inspect, quarterly or every 6 months or something like that. You're not gonna do it on a rolling basis.
And then if they haven't applied for it, then he's going to have to call them up and say, "Hey, where's your CO application?" It's just, more stuff to do, which is the way of things,
Paperwork.
it seems. And that's all I have to say. Just read these things and you'll get a good sense of what'll be going on. Because all these things are going to have to be incorporated.
Any other discussion?
Oh, excuse me.
We good? Okay, moving along, we've got the zoning bylaw discussion, short-term rentals. Did everybody get a chance? Did you want to share their opinion?
As far as from the next, my thing is like, how do we enforce it?
Okay, oh, well,
Well, I'd start before that with what are we trying to enforce?
Exactly.
Right.
Is this a,
I don't want us to end up with a can of worms like East Burke is going through with right now.
Burke isn't.
Oh, yes, they are.
I read all their minutes of the 25 and it's coming along. It's
No, but they want to control the short-term rentals. They get
Well, they get
Well, they
people
have
to
to.
inspect.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
we don't have that.
oh,
have that.
they have a different big problem with the ski areas because all the ski areas have condos that were built to be run like hotels. They've been run like hotels, and the state and everybody else has agreed that they should be taxed like hotels because they're
Right.
functionally hotels.
Right.
Well, here comes the select board saying, well, we think those might be short-term rentals. And the resort operators are like, if you make these short-term rentals, we will go bankrupt.
Right.
Yeah, there's a big to-do going on
Yeah.
over there. There's a lot of arguing.
but that's fine. I'm not arguing that I want them.
We don't have any
anyway,
ski
but
areas, so we're cool.
something to talk about.
I think just leave things well enough alone right now.
How many are there? I mean, how many short-term, Airbnbs do you think?
Here in town,
I did
20 maybe.
I did the Airbnbs and VRBOs and I didn't do Craigslist or anything, but then there's private people. There was about 30
30.
and they could be, I'm not even saying that. I just thought that if we had something like this, even something that maybe down the line as an ordinance or something, you never know. This town is like
I know the
Airbnb.
Well, I know
city
what
now.
you were talking, charging, what are they charging? $25? What is it?
Okay, so short term is 45 and 30. This is what Burke's doing.
Okay.
But you had mentioned you had your apartments, right? They're not they're leased like yearly, right? They're
Yeah, I don't have
leases.
short-term. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not, that's not
No,
gonna
I'm not,
affect you.
no,
Okay,
no.
so it's not leases.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't understand why the short term is 45 and the long term is 35, and you have to do it every year. If you read the bylaws in here,
Alright,
how they're
so, yeah.
handling it.
On my glasses.
It isn't. It
So
definitely
you're
is-
talking, so you're talking $980 a year.
Why? It's only, why you gotta do it's one building. I don't think, if you're on leases, what, you're
No,
not.
no, I'm
doing this.
talking about the short term, and you said there's like 30 of them.
Oh,
Okay, so you
I
charge
don't know
them
if it's
40
short or it's too long. I didn't know.
So
that
whatever.
at that
So I
time.
went 45 times 30, and you get 900 and what? 950 and 9. I can't.
1350.
Okay, whatever it is. Okay, so is it really worth for us to have someone going into all these buildings for $1,300 a year and checking to make sure they have all their,
if you had somebody full time.
Well, I get it, but we don't have that and
Don't have that.
we don't, right, and we're not gonna pay somebody
And we're not-
$20,000 a year.
they have the
20, you
zoning
ain't gonna get
guy
anybody for
doing it.
$20,000.
Well, whatever, it would be just one, whatever it was, I mean,
You're lucky-
that's all they had to do.
You're lucky you got a part-time zoning administrator.
Well, I get it.
Pretty
I'm,
much.
I'm just saying it would be.
Most communities that I know, one community that's got 9,000 people, they got a building inspector, a zoning administrator. Not the same person, two
No.
different persons,
Right.
and then they start at 60 and
Yeah,
70,000.
and I get it. That's what I'm saying. So for $1,300 a year, is it really worth it? Probably not.
Tell you stories.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna just read one thing that's here.
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
just neutral. So they're just saying the purpose of having the Airbnbs or whatever. The purpose of this ordinance is to promote and protect the public health, safety, welfare, and convenience of the town, to preserve residents' rights to quiet enjoyment of homes and properties, and to ensure the safety of long-term rentals.
Well, that's what's happened in North Conway, New Hampshire, at Conway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they got hundreds of
Mhm.
Airbnbs.
Sure.
And the biggest bitch, they're passing laws now because they're wild parties. People are parking in the street. They got no room for the cars to go down the street. And it's just gotten so out of hand with fireworks going off all day and all night long. And it's just gotten so bad that they're getting some strict rules and regulations now.
Right.
And I don't know how they're going to stop it now. They're way beyond the point of no return.
Right. But the thing, right. And they have no one to enforce it.
They
do.
not right now. I mean,
Exactly.
they
So
have to have somebody.
They're
Right
right.
now, the cops are trying to enforce
Right. Yeah.
the noise ordinances, but they don't have the manpower.
Right.
There's a big article in
Well, that in
the
exactly
Conway
what I'm saying.
papers.
It's like who
Look it up and
gonna get to pay for, say if it gets to $2,000 a year.
Call
Who's gonna,
I'm sheriff.
I mean,
He'll get rid of
Joel,
it.
have you got any complaints about these Airbnbs and anything, or Mike?
No, not really. No, we haven't. I mean, if you wanted to do this, it could be done with a zoning permit. You could, it could be Airbnb could become a use. And if somebody decided they wanted to rent out their garage to an Airbnb, that'd be a change of use permit. And then you could attach some provisions for what Airbnbs would require, some minimal requirements, and it'd just be like a zoning permit. But if you wanted to get like Burke's doing, though, you need somebody
Yeah.
whose job
And then,
that
like
is,
we were
and
talking-
they need to be qualified.
but then we were
know,
talking about the, whatever, it's like these people that are renting need to have insurance.
Mhm.
Because if they don't have insurance and they're not telling their insurance company
Right.
they're renting that out, something
right.
goes wrong, they are not covered.
Oh, no.
So
They may
that's
lose
up to
they
them.
may lose their home out of it. I
Exactly.
mean, that's
So
a problem.
That's
Then we can
right.
redevelop it.
Right, exactly. Thank you.
That's your point.
No, that was my point. Yeah. Hmm. Anyway,
I can
mean,
I
we
can
could-
say,
we could-
from the town manager perspective, we need staff in town, but we don't need this position. I mean, we have so many other needs beyond putting a person that this is another job that they have to do. We can't get anybody to run for any of these boards. We're not going to find anybody to do this job unless we're going to pay good money for it.
I wonder if we could add it as a use on the list of uses, permitted or conditional uses, and then say that the applicant must show an approved inspection from the state or something like that. It's just
There
like
are
we
no
require.
there are no inspections from the state for it.
They're not gonna
Doesn't
do
the
it.
health department, I mean, the health department, health officer used to have to be in charge of rental inspections, had the authority, but they took that away. But somebody's got that authority to make sure rentals in Vermont are done right. So
yeah, but they're probably for long term. It's
The
probably,
only
Right,
thing that the
long-term.
state
Yeah.
fire marshal's office is in charge of is anything more than 2 rental units in a building. Once you hit that third one, the state gets involved and they have to make sure that it's all done according to code. But if you've got a building and it's a second floor apartment, a first floor apartment, and and the landlord doesn't live there, the state has no control over that building until you hit that number 3. Once it gets to the third apartment, then the state walks in and they're going to tell you what to do. And I know I've been through that.
Yeah,
Because I
what would
called
we
the
even
state.
ask for? What would we even want if we said, we want people to get, a special permit for Airbnb? What would the requirements be? Would they have to have just smoke alarms or what? What
Yeah,
would
it's
we
all
say?
in, I thought that's what we're gonna.
That's a state law already.
Right,
Yeah,
that,
right.
and
You're
their
right,
insurance, their insurance company is gonna make them do that anyway.
Oh, yes.
That's
And
what
if
I
they're
would
not
think,
telling
yeah.
their insurance company that they're not renting their units, then they are not covered. And if they,
Oh, no,
They're not
they-
gonna-
they-
The thing is, they're not going to tell us that they're renting it out either. I mean, then so then we run into the conundrum of, okay, if they have a busybody neighbor that's angry about it, they're going to get reported constantly. Well, the guy down the street who doesn't have that kind of neighbor gets by with it forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those. I just don't think it's something we want to go down that road for.
I don't think we need to do it yet. I just don't think we're at that point either.
Well, no,
I agree on that. We
Yeah.
only have about 30.
most communities that you're talking about, they have a building inspector, electrical inspector, plumbing inspector. So when you do something like what you're saying, they're supposed to tell the town, and then the town comes in, they'll send the fire department over to make sure you've got the required
Right,
smoke
that's one,
detectors.
yep, that's one of
That's one of the items, and then
the permits.
the permits that are involved, but you don't have the personnel here. Who are you gonna send?
Right.
So the fire
What I think we
safety
should
inspection is
do
not the
is
fire
we should-
department?
no, that's the state.
Oh,
That's fire marshal.
oh,
What I
fire
think we should do is put something in the town plan about this. We should at least have a paragraph saying, we address this and the planning commission considers this as something that we should at least think about, so that if 6 years from now, somebody we find a need to do it, we have the backing in the town plan to do it, to change the zoning.
I agree.
I agree.
Yep.
Fine.
That kind of, saves us, of not having nothing. And if we want to go back to it, you can't change the town plan, right? Once it's done.
You can, but
yeah,
it's
you
a
can.
it's a process.
Then it should definitely be. in
Process
the-
we're going
you
through.
Yeah.
You
Doesn't
don't
the
have to
state-
for 8 years, but you can.
Doesn't the state have to get involved in any changes to the town plan,
NVDA, I think does.
the NVDA?
Not really. NVDA, we can have whatever town plan we want, but if we want it confirmed and have a legal standing, it has to go through the Regional Planning Commission, which is NVDA, yes.
Right.
That's why Allison is helping us, because she'll make sure we have a plan that will pass muster.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, good. All right.
I mean, we may not see it in our lifetime, but these things that we're talking about, all these people that have to inspect, it's a way of life for a lot of people in the United States. Just to give you an example, I have a friend of mine that owns his father's house. Father died, and he owns a place in Florida. Well, he wants to put in new windows. Most places that I know of in New Hampshire, you don't need a permit to change existing windows with the same size window. You're not changing the building itself. He had 17 pages he had to fill out in the state of Florida to change the windows in his father's house. And then he belongs to a
HOA.
HOA.
Yeah.
So there was 5 more sheets involved in that. And he says, by the time I'm going to get permission to start this, summer's going to be over. He says, and they sent me to one place to get the permit. Then I had to drive 15 miles to the other place to fill out some paperwork. And he says that he spent 2 weeks on this. While he was down there at his father's place, he spent, Larry.
Oh, Larry, yep.
Yeah, he spent 2 weeks down there doing all this paperwork.
Yeah.
Had to be a certain window that's shatterproof because of the hurricanes they have down there. And it's got to be a special window, and it has that special seal on the glass, and the whole 9 yards just to change windows. And And I said to myself, my God, I hope this never comes in our area. Or, I mean, nobody's going to want to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just, he said it was
Yours will
hell
be
on
different.
earth.
So theirs is because of hurricanes. Yours will be weight load for snow. You know, because there are those restrictions.
That's already a federal
It's already snow law.
Right.
Technically, you're not supposed to build your own trusses anymore. They have to be certified engineered trusses.
Right.
I'm just
Except
telling
for
you
that
what the law is.
Except
That's
in
federal.
Vermont. In Vermont, there is no
Vermont,
permits for
they're exempt.
residential.
Vermont's exempt from a lot of things.
Yep. Nobody,
There's no
I mean-
permits for anything that is not open to the public.
there you go.
Right.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
said it right there.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yep. And nobody tattles.
I'm open to the public. I had to go through, yeah.
I get it. Same.
But there's some state. Well, look at the Palisades right now. What's going on down there? They've had, I forget, 2,600 homes that have been lost there. They've got 2 approved
Right.
permits.
Yep.
It was on the news yesterday. 2 approved permits. And these lots are all 100 by 100 lots, a lot of them. They're small lots. So, and they're going to allow them to build back on these little rinky-dink
What is
lots.
this?
Palisades in California.
Oh,
California, the strictest state there is in the United States.
No,
And
Hawaii is stricter,
Hawaii is even worse.
big time.
Well, I could see that a little bit because of all
it's small.
the islands and
It's because the government believes that it is the economy. On the Big Island, 75% of the budget revenue comes from property taxes.
absolutely. Barbados is the same way.
75% of the budget goes to pay salaries and benefits.
Yeah.
They let the sugarcane industry go to hell in Barbados because people going on vacation there all the time. That's their main economy now. That's what supports all the people.
Okay, so we
All right.
agree that we'll get something into the town plan on this subject.
Yep.
Okay, so are we done with the discussion? Looking good?
So
Okay.
So Mike, going back to Alice, how do you think this is going to work out?
What?
Oh, I think they'll get it. I think they'll get it to push through. I mean, I don't see that I sat through 45 minutes of the discussion that night about the map and why we don't want, and it was all just protectionism. And it's like, you can't protect the land for the next 100 years that it's not going to be developed. You know, you're not going to be there. You know, the next people that own it could do whatever they want.
250?
Yeah.
Talking about the 250?
if you buy that land and you pay the property tax,
For the past.
then you get to decide how that.
But it,
Changing.
Right, right. I
I'm
mean,
sick and
that's
tired of people doing this, like, but somebody
So I
else
I didn't know all the sons like, what do you?
that I had.
No, I was just curious.
Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
did you own it?
Trust me, I have that argument down here. It's the same, because they're building housing subdivision over housing subdivision all over the place here. And we don't want the farmland to go away. Okay, are you going to farm the land? Because I can tell you, these kids have all inherited their parents' farms. And they have no intention of being a farmer. So, you know, when somebody comes and says, I've got $3 million for your lot of cornfield, they're saying, sign me up.
Right.
That's what's happened.
I mean, and who are we to tell them they can't? I mean, I kind of do have that, you know, okay, well, why can't they? Why should they have to keep it as a farm if they don't want to be a farmer?
Stop making children.
And
What
the
happens
sad-
with
the sad-
those things is they get taxed on the basis of the highest and best use. They get taxed on the basis of the highest and best use, and farmers can't pay that kind of property tax.
No,
If that's what the current use program is all about in Vermont, is to keep, they only pay for, they don't pay as if it's a housing development, which be a lot of money. They pay if it's a farm, which is entirely appropriate, but
and the sad thing is the kids are selling a lot of this property in the Midwest and to China. China is buying up more land right now as fast as they can.
well, they're trying to stop that.
Yeah, we'll see. a lot of hands behind their backs.
Okay.
Like a hardware store they can buy
Yeah, you should downsize to a pub.
it. To a pub.
Hey, we could make quite a few apartments out of that
Yeah, we could.
and add a second story.
Kind of
besides.
thought about it.
Just take all the merchandise out and roll in a bunch of tiny homes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Per square foot, it might do better.
I don't know.
Hey, it's got water and sewer.
Hey,
Yes, it does. Well, hey.
one
Okay,
toilet,
I'm
one bathroom.
making,
How about it? All right.
all right, would do, anybody make a motion to approve the minutes of the
Make-
previous
I'll make a motion,
meeting?
we approve.
I'll
it.
second that.
Any other business?
Yes, I have one thing I just need to let you guys know about because we got a call into town hall about it today. There is a individual on Cedarwood Drive that has parked a truck with a mobile billboard at the end of the road. And one of the neighbors complained about it. And so Teresa referred the homeowner to contact Nick about it because it's definitely a zoning violation.
On Cedar,
What
Where
is
is
it?
it at?
Where is it? Atwood, by Atwood?
no,
No,
Cedar
Cedarwood
is.
is out
the
one,
church.
it's right out by the church, out by the Green Mountain Bible
Oh,
Church.
Are
oh,
you serious? There's a billboard there?
It's a mobile, it's like a truck with the sign on the side of it and everything. Yeah, they said it's like a mobile billboard.
like for business, doing business or
Yeah,
something?
some
Oh.
kind of business. I don't know
Is
what.
that like
they
on
didn't
the
tell me
side of the
what.
road? Where is it? At the church, or is it on the road? Or
It's at the intersection there at Cedarwood. She said it's near the end of the road there.
oh, I'll have to check
And
it
he
on the way
lives
home.
on Cedarwood.
Oh, is that where the Quonset hut is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Half
Yes.
Quonset hut?
Yes,
Yeah, right after.
Okay, yeah, just Cedarwood was right there.
Maxwell's.
Yeah, Maxwell's. Yeah.
Can
By
we
that-
even regulate
Right.
that?
Zoning.
Is it lit? Are they,
Well, we're
Have
not
to
allowed to
see
have,
it
you're
to
not allowed to
know.
have a billboard in Vermont in the first place. And
Right.
we have a
But
sign
isn't it-
ordinance, so it falls under our zoning. You can't put that
gee,
there.
I went by there Sunday, I didn't see that
Isn't it
Somebody
technically
called
a
in and
vehicle?
complained about it today, so.
today.
I
Yeah.
don't
Maybe
think,
ju-
Maybe
I
somebody
don't think
was it
we
a
have a
snowmobile trailer?
regulation against that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, it's a vehicle.
It's like somebody in a van that's got their business name on it and it's parked in their driveway.
Selling meat.
Yeah, but it's not on his land. It's parked on the right of
Oh,
way, I believe.
Well, then
there
you get
near
into
the
Act
road.
250.
Oh.
It's
Oh,
part,
so
he
that-
lives
so
lives
it's in
way
the
down
town's
Cedarwood
right-of-way?
and he's parked it out on the roadway.
Oh, I gotta check this out.
I'm gonna have to. Well, I'll
Yeah,
check it
I
out
don't know
on
what
the
it
way home.
is. I
Check
just
it out
wanted to,
later.
Maybe-
Teresa
maybe it's
told me to
broke
let you
down.
guys know.
Maybe it's broke down and you can't move it. I don't know. I'm gonna check it out on my way home.
Off.
I know, I guess it's
Pedestrians
been
have
there
been
for a number of
vandalized.
days and the neighbors are complaining, so.
Good
I thought
Lord.
I would let you guys
Thought I
know
noticed
about it.
things.
By Sunday, I didn't see that. But
I go by every day. I don't care.
yeah, Gene.
I think we
I'll
need
go
to
there.
decide whether, we're not gonna be open on Monday for President's Day. I have a lot of family coming for winter vacation and I would rather not come because there's like 9 people gonna be staying at my house. Maybe I should be going, maybe we should have. the meeting.
I go to the meeting.
So Allison, when I talked to Allison, she's kind of concerned because she wasn't happy about missing today.
Yes, I know.
Are you guys, do you have a different date that you would do a planning commission meeting? I said, they could move it if they wanted to, since that's a
Right.
holiday.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it.
I'm
gonna-
thinking the next, like that week, not, because that's winter vacation for Massachusetts and Connecticut, which my family are coming from. And so maybe the next week, but that's Vermont's vacation. Do you have a problem with anything with that for your grandchildren or
What
anything?
week are we
No.
talking about?
It would be
Right.
the 14th.
23rd.
No,
Oh,
3rd.
Third, yeah. Because if you go to the week after that, it's town meeting day.
Yeah,
Which you're also, oh yeah, you guys have a meeting that day.
well, okay. So wait a minute.
Oh,
This is
no, you won't have a
President's Day.
meeting that day.
Right,
Will
we
you?
don't have a meeting that day anyway.
no, we don't, but they're saying maybe we should have another meeting to make up for that one because we just didn't have the other one last month, Martin.
Why can't we just have it the 23rd?
Yeah, that's what we're saying, the 23rd.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. with
Which would
that.
be normal, which would be your,
No, it's February 16th.
oh, because it's his 3rd week. Yeah. Okay.
I know
We're
I
doing
got,
it the 4th week. You all right with that?
I know I got a water board meeting on the third Tuesday.
Right, you'll be fine.
So this
I
is
don't
a
think
this is
Monday,
Monday.
right?
There
This is a
isn't
Monday?
anything on the 4th Monday of the month.
There is it?
And
No.
at 5,
till now.
Do you want to make it
Yeah.
earlier? Do you want to do 5:30 still? What's
Yeah.
5:30 is good?
February 23rd.
You have to
5:30.
warn that?
So, excuse me?
Do you have to warn that?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's off schedule?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
They have to warn it anyway.
Katie, can you do that for me? Thank you.
And we'll put out a notice that your regular meeting that's scheduled for President's Day will not take place.
Yeah, well, it would be closed anyway, so.
Right, but people would be expecting a meeting that day. Not everybody has that as a holiday. The town does, but not
Yeah,
everybody
because
does. So.
you know that everybody that shows up.
Yeah, I know. We have like 1 million people that show up for the planning
Yeah.
commission meetings, so
The
we want to make sure that
day
they
that
know it.
we don't post it and we don't warn it,
I know.
and everybody
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
be here. Well, you didn't warn it.
I think we'll be open on the 16th.
No,
Gotta find out.
your business?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, well, why not?
Business that I had to build in East Haven because there's no suitable commercial real estate in town. That business? No, not better.
Well, there was. You just didn't want to buy it.
The tear down or the other tear down?
There's a couple right now, and I think one of them is one sold, and the other one, well, not.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
okay.
I second that.
All in favor?
All right.
All right, motion is carried and we are adjourned.